I guess we'll go basic. Table work 101. Get close to the client. Don't be afraid to get close to them. If you're totally new to it, it's more awkward if you're awkward with it. So just get in there. You should kind of know what you're doing. I mean, if you're brand new to it, I understand a little awkwardness, but over time, feel confident and get confident with what you're doing. All right? So we're going to work on the upper body here. We look at two major ranges of motion, and there's a couple other we can easily screen from the table. The ones we focus on are external rotation. So with the shoulder here at the shoulder joint, it's going to be external rotation going backwards here. Okay, and Ian is jiu-jitsu and does MMA, so he's pretty tight in the shoulders right now. We look for 90 degrees range of motion. So from here, straight up with the arm to straight back, this is about, he's getting the resistance around 80 to 70 degrees. All right, we can go another 10 to 15, but a little end range resistance. So muscles that are gonna prevent the arm from going back are ideally muscles that are tight on the anterior side of the body, all right? Preventing this arm from dropping back, holding tension maybe in the pec, maybe through the bicep tendon a little bit, maybe in the front of the anterior shoulder. From my personal experience, doing years of doing this, it's from both sides of the joint, honestly, because one side is tight, the other side's working to bring it back, and they start dysfunctioning the muscles. And that's why over time, chronic pain issues will continue to get worse and worse. So from my experience here, if we're having a little external issues, little end range resistance, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna focus on the pecs, anterior delt, and the biceps, okay? Some basic trigger point therapy. Trigger point therapy is so easy. I like to not work as hard, honestly. I will get into the anterior delt, I have the client relax their arm, relax their wrist, relax everything. I'm just trying to find literally the tendons. I know I've been doing this a while, so I know that I'm on them now. And to figure out if I'm on them, I'm gonna just start moving the arm back and forth, and I'll feel the muscle fibers slide underneath my finger here. I'm sure Ian can feel that as well. Yeah, you feel that? Nice. So we're just playing with the anterior delt. I know the deltoid goes across like this, that deltoid. I know the bicep tendon originates here and inserts in the elbow. All right, so I know the way these muscles line up and where they're inserting. Anterior delt, pec minor, pec major. All right, there's a lot that goes into this conjunction. You have your subscap under here. So there's so much muscles. This is your hot area. This is the area you want to focus on if a client has shoulder pain, especially if their external rotation is having an issue going back. All right, so some simple release techniques, finding that little trigger point, we're holding that there. These things take time, so I'm gonna go a little bit quicker with it, but just actively bringing his arm through that range of motion. When I'm working with the client, always asking for feedback, all right? So I'm gonna put myself in a client scenario now. All right, yeah, definitely some tight shoulder external rotation. So I'm just gonna get in here, loosen some stuff up. Let me know if it bothers you at all, like if anything is painful while I'm moving you, like in the joint. It should feel a little painful and tender, kind of where I am working the muscle, but we're just gliding back and forth, all right? If anything's too much, just let me know, and make sure you can breathe through it. Always being able to breathe. All right. So that's exactly how I would talk to a client as I'm doing this release. And I could even feel his hands. He's getting further and further back here. I feel that stretch going more and more. And literally, you guys see what I'm doing. I'm just keeping my thumb in that location. Going to internal rotation, external rotation. Relax more, relax. Breathing even higher here because I'm feeling it open up more. Pushing the elbow down into a lat stretch here. This all comes with experience now, but as long as you know the body is feeling looser, like I could tell that he's loosening up, his muscle tissue is reacting better to this. All right, once I get in with the hot hand for a little bit, I'll go and do the whole surface area. So I have a big palm, a big hand. I'll literally grab here, push a little bit down, I'll bring his elbow down, and we're gonna go into overhead extension. All right, so a little combo of external rotation with overhead extension with the shoulder. So going up, pushing his arm back a little bit. And as I do that, I make sure to push down into the joint so we get a little bit of an active release. Those muscle fibers, those tendons are rolling underneath my palm right there and back. It's a little less tender than the thumb on a specific spot, but you will feel some hot spots definitely going through this. So pushing up. When I get here, if I know this is releasing well, one of the stretches I like to do is grabbing the wrist, focusing on the elbow here, grabbing the palm there, and pushing back down onto the table. All right? They usually feel a stretch through here, sometimes through the backside as well, and I can feel it through their elbow, like as that stretch is going. Then I keep them in external rotation. I'm keeping the wrist, not pushing too far back, because he will hurt there. I'm holding him at that end range. Then I'm just gliding his shoulder through that range of motion. Do a couple of those. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So Ian's range of motion definitely a little looser already. And this is not a fix-all. Like if you have, Ian's a young buck, which is great. Sometimes when I'm bringing this arm back, the client will tell me, I'm still feeling pain. You know, and I'm like, oh, is there pain anywhere here? Most of the time they refer to the back side, either through here or the back side of the shoulder. So like I mentioned in the beginning, it's both sides of the joint. You may have to have the client flip over and work the back side of the joint before you do any of those big stretches that I just showed you. You want to release a little back and forth. If they were complaining of a little pain in the backside, before you go about crazy stretches, make sure to release the backside, because you will hurt the client, okay? In the next sequence here, we're going to show you the posterior side releasing, and I'll show you some movements that I like to bring the arm through there as well.